These are the steps that really built us a $1 million rental portfolio. Hey, I'm Nana. I have been in real estate for about 15 years now. I have done everything from work as a real estate attorney, formerly practicing. I've done wholesaling. I have been a realtor. I even have fixed and flipped. And I used to host over 20 Airbnbs, doing over $250,000 a year. So I've done all the things when it comes to real estate. But here are the 5 things I would do if I was starting my real estate journey from scratch today. So buckle up, come on in, learn from my mistakes so you don't have to make them. And if you want to learn how to buy your first rental property in the next 90 days, go ahead and check the link in my description box below where I'm breaking down exactly how you can do that, what your game plan is, so that you can buy your first or maybe even next rental property this year. The first thing I would do is start with the end in mind. So this means to think about not just your money goals, but also your lifestyle goals, right? You want to choose a strategy accordingly. Choose a strategy that fits into the lifestyle that you want to have or that you want to continue to have. So if you know that your goal is to have a lot of freedom, flexibility, then maybe fixing and flipping is not the strategy that you would start with, because as you've seen, probably just even watching HGTV, and they don't even show you all the real things, fixing and flipping is a lot of work, and it can take several months depending on the property that you choose to see the profit. Now, if your goal and your lifestyle desire is to be in the trenches, really hands-on, and you just enjoy seeing the transformation of a, maybe dump that you picked up, and you see the beautiful transformation of what you can turn it into, and it looks great, and you get a rush from that, I say go for it. But just make sure you are choosing according to what your goal is. So for instance, for me, in this stage of my life, my goal is freedom and flexibility. So fixing and flipping is not currently on my plate. I have a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. I've just gotten out of true newborn stage. So right now, this is not the season for that for me. Now, that's not to say I won't ever fix and flip, because it is fun to, put your energy into something and seeing it transform and bringing a house back to life. But that is not the strategy for me right now. So make sure you decide which strategy in real estate is going to be best for your goals, and not get caught up in the hype of what you think should be your strategy based on what other people are doing or what looks cool in the moment. The second thing I would do is to choose cash flow and consistency. So me personally, I would focus on a strategy that is going to give me consistent cash flow every single month, just generally on a regular basis, first before I chose any other real estate strategy. The reason for this is knowing you have that consistent money coming in every single month, for instance, it gives you some sustainability to your business. So you're not constantly hustling and having to go out and find the next deal, find the next property in order to get paid. For me right now, we own Section 8 rentals, so that money is guaranteed by the government. Every single month we get paid on the 1st. In our area here in Las Vegas, they often pay us the day before the 1st, so yay me. And I can rely consistently on that income. So now if I want to go out and do other strategies, I know that this one strategy is pretty regular and pretty consistent, and I'm making cash flow. I can budget off of that. I can just have that peace of mind knowing that that money is there and coming in. So that's what I would focus on as my first strategy, is trying to find something that's going to bring you consistent, sustainable cash flow. Like I said, I used to host over 20 Airbnbs, and the money in Airbnb, at least back then, was great. Don't get me wrong, Airbnb today is still a great strategy if you do it correctly, but you constantly have to get a new guest in order to get paid, right? It's not a one and done kind of thing, versus with a rental property, whether you do Section 8 or not, you find the tenant once and you get paid at least for the next year, right? Unless your tenant breaks the lease, but that means you weren't following my tenant screening system, which you should be doing. Shameless plug. Anyway, but having a buy and hold strategy where you're buying a property and you are holding on to it for the long term is what's going to get you that regular cash flow. And in the same time, it's building appreciation over time. So you're slowly building wealth. Some areas you might appreciate very quickly, some areas a little more slowly, but over time, generally speaking, real estate increases in value. The third thing I would do is to fund my first deal creatively. So you do not have to necessarily drain all of your savings to get into real estate. I would definitely use things like my credit, of course, partnering with someone who has the funds available and is looking for something to invest in, even leveraging down payment assistance programs or even grants that allow you to purchase real estate, using 0% interest credit cards to fund my deal, and even using advanced strategies like buying the property subject to the existing mortgage or using seller financing, which is when the seller becomes the bank, and instead of working with a traditional lender or traditional bank, you are buying the property from that seller and then you are paying the mortgage to that seller. And of course, you need all the paperwork, have the attorneys do all the things, but that is a creative strategy that you can also use to get into real estate. In this way, you are not necessarily using all of your personal savings or even relying on your personal credit to get into the game. Because real estate is a strategy game, not necessarily a savings game. So the more you can leverage these strategies to purchase real estate, the further along you will be. The fourth thing would be to focus on one property and systems initially. So one of the challenges that new real estate investors and landlords have is that they are running their business really like a side hustle. And so they don't have any systems in place. Everything's all over the place. Every day is a new adventure. And that's not what you need. I would be sure to set up my rental like a business from day one. This means learning how to get good tenants, putting in good tenant screening systems, putting in good repair and maintenance systems, making sure you have all of that online and down pat before you move on to your next rental. And maybe the system for you is even finding a really good property manager, because not all property managers are created equal. So you want to make sure you have those systems in place, whether you're doing it yourself and self-managing or you are handing your property off to a property management firm. You want to make sure those things are taken care of and fairly good to go before you move on to your next property, because you don't want to have a messy system, messy landlording, and then things are falling through the cracks and it becomes less of a passive strategy and more of a frazzled strategy. And the fifth thing I would do is to scale my rental business with purpose and not pressure. Listen, you do not need 50, 11, 100, whatever the real estate gurus and bros are telling you. You do not need a bajillion real estate properties or rental properties to find freedom with real estate. All it really takes is one, and then you can start to leverage that one property. You want to focus on quality and not quantity, because it's not about how many doors you own, it's about how much freedom these doors, and when I say doors, I mean properties, how much freedom these doors are giving you. The goal is to build a rental portfolio that gives you peace and, of course, income. So yes, the more doors you have, the more income you can make, but you want to make sure that you're not feeling pressure to have to get X number of doors, having to buy 20 properties in the next year in order to be successful. No, you do not have to do all of that. You can build a, what I like to call small and mighty rental portfolio and still make great income. And of course, you can build a big and bad rental portfolio. You just want to do it mindfully, without burning yourself out, without over leveraging yourself. So you don't want to go out and spend all this money, utilize all this credit, and now you're maxed out. You want to do things in a sustainable and intentional way when it comes to your rental business and real estate. If you are interested in buying your first investment property this year or next, I am breaking down how to buy your first rental property in 90 days in the first link in my description box below. So go ahead and check that out to get your own game plan together to make that first purchase. And if you already have a rental property, but you're looking for a way to systemize things, start getting guaranteed rent from Section 8 rentals without dealing with quote unquote bad tenants, check out the second link in my description on how to get passive income successfully from Section 8 rentals. Now, if you found this video helpful, go ahead and check out this next one here, because when you pair it with what you just learned today in this video, you will be even further along in your real estate journey. See you next time. Millennial peace sign.